Welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be diving in.
Today, we're jumping straight into this really compelling case study from our sources. It's quite the story.
Oh, yeah. It's a mix of horse racing, the glamour, the tradition.
Right, but slammed up against the secretive and pretty ruthless world of corporate sabotage.
And private detection weaving through it all. It's definitely high stakes.
So our mission today is to unpack it, not just the plot, which is intense enough, but also this key insight.
Yeah, like how does a huge corporate espionage scheme get sort of tripped up, not by the big flashy crimes, but by something way more mundane?
Exactly. And also, what surviving extreme violence actually does to a person's idea of success.
It's quite profound when you get down to it.
So let's introduce our main figure, Sid Halley. He's an ex-steeplechase jockey.
Right? Used to race over jumps, and now he works for this very discreet agency, Hunt Radnor Associates.
And we meet him, well, in a pretty bad way. He's waking up in a hospital room, private room.
Yeah, it turns out he'd been shot in his office by some intruder, this guy Andrews.
And the sources really paint a picture. He apparently spent a whole cold September night just lying on the floor, couldn't even call for help.
It's a brutal start. But what's really striking is the analysis from his boss, Radnor, who comes to visit him.
Oh, yeah, Radnor's take on why Halley even survived getting shot through the middle.
It's almost clinical. Radnor says Halley survived because he has the constitution of a jockey.
What does that even mean?
Well, he argues that years of, intense training, the constant falls, dealing with broken bones, all those racing injuries, it basically turned Halley's body into a kind of shock absorber.
Wow. So his first dangerous career physically prepped him for the violence of the second one.
That's the idea. It paints Halley as a survivor, someone tough by nature, not just lucky. It's a really telling detail.
And the agency he works for, Hunt Radnor, they seem to have a similar kind of counterintuitive approach to things.
Radnor's office, for example. This is where clients are meant to spill their biggest secrets, right?
Yeah, you'd expect something formal, maybe intimidating.
But no, it's set up like a comfortable sitting room. Cozy, almost.
Why?
Because Radnor believes people are more truthful when they're relaxed. Less likely to, exaggerate or leave things out.
Huh. So they use comfort as a tactic.
Absolutely. Build trust, get the unvarnished facts, which you definitely need when you're dealing with high-level crime, deception, all that stuff.
Okay, so Haley's recovering, but it doesn't sound like he gets much rest.
Not really. As soon as he's out of the hospital, he's pulled straight into a new case.
By his father-in-law.
Yeah, Charles Rowland. He's an admiral, but also a racing steward.
Right. A steward is like a top official in racing, holds real authority, represents the establishment, you could say.
Exactly. Tradition, rules. While Halley, the ex-jockey, is more about the grit of the sport.
And their relationship wasn't easy, was it?
Oh, famously difficult. Rowland apparently had this frigid disapproval of Halley marrying his daughter because he was just a jockey.
That's quite the detail. How did that change?
The sources mention this one rainy afternoon, they played chess, a really tense game.
And Halley won.
He did, pulled out a victory. And that seemed to be the turning point, earning that grudging respect, maybe.
Okay, so Rowland brings Halley into this crisis at Seabury Racecourse. What's going on there?
Well, the course is struggling. Profits are way down. Looks like it's failing. But Halley figures out pretty quickly it's not really about the racing quality itself.
It's something else.
It's the land. Seabury is on this incredibly valuable piece of coastal property, prime real estate.
Ah. And the company's structure.
That's the key. The official issued share capital is tiny, like 80,000 pounds. It bears absolutely no relation, as the source puts it, to the actual value of the land.
So it's basically a sitting duck for a takeover.
Precisely. Ripe for someone to buy up shares cheap and then cash in on land value.
Enter the villain.
Enter Howard Cray. He's presented as this high-flying speculator. Very smooth.
And he's buying up shares.
Secretly, yeah. Using nominee names, shell companies, all the usual tricks. His goal is clear. Get enough shares, maybe 40, 51%, to gain control.
And then sell the land for housing.
Exactly. Liquidate the asset. He doesn't care about the race course itself.
And we learned he's done this before.
Yeah, at another course, Dunstable. Successfully pulled off the same steam.
But this isn't just like smart business, is it? It's more sinister.
Oh, much more. Cray uses outright criminal methods. And turns out Howard Cray isn't even his real name.
Really? Who is he?
Wilbur Potter, an ex-con from New York, did time for assault. He's actually a geologist by training.
A geologist, wow. So polished speculator on the surface, but underneath?
Yeah, ruthless criminal methods. Thuggery, basically.
And the prime example is that tanker crash at Seabury.
Right. This wasn't subtle. He literally arranged for a tanker truck to crash and overturn on a road crossing the racecourse turf.
And it wasn't carrying water.
No, it was carrying sulfuric acid, dense stuff, corrosive. It killed the grass instantly, made the track unusable.
Forcing them to cancel a race meeting.
Exactly. Maximum disruption. Depress the value even further. Drive down attendance and confidence.
And the driver.
Paid off. Smith, his name was. Halley later finds proof of payments to him among Cray's things. Photographs them.
It connects back to the Dunstable case, too, doesn't it? The clerk of the course there.
William Brinton. Yeah, the clerk is the main executive running the racing side. Brinton admitted suicide.
And it wasn't just despair over the course failing.
No. It turns out Cray had blackmailed him, forced him to deliberately frame races, which nobody likes. Basically, put on terrible low-quality races.
To help Cray's scheme by making Dunstable look like a guaranteed failure.
Precisely. Destroying the man's reputation, driving him to suicide, it shows Cray's utter ruthlessness. He ruins lives as just part of the business plan.
So Halley's job isn't just about finding financial records.
No, he needs undeniable proof. Proof of the sabotage, the blackmail, something solid to take to Lord Hagborn and the National Hunt Committee.
His client. So Halley goes undercover.
Pretty much. He ends up staying at Charles Rowland's house, Ainsford. And guess who else is a guest there?
Cray.
Howard Cray himself. So Halley is right under the same roof.
Which gives him an opportunity.
A risky one. This is where Halley's other skills come in. He uses these lock-picking tools taught to him by an ex-police sergeant the agency employs.
To break into Cray's luggage?
Yep. Lavish stuff, crimson brocade dressing gown, gold-topped bottles, and crucially, Cray's attaché case.
And what does he find?
The good stuff. Share transfer certificates, lists of payments.
Payments to initials.
Yeah, JRS, that turns out to be Smith, the tanker driver.
Yeah.
And WLB William Leslie Brinton, the poor guy from Dunstable.
And the money itself?
Packets of new 10-pound notes, all in consecutive serial numbers. Classic untraceable payoff money. Kelly photographs everything.
But he finds something else too, doesn't he? Something more personal about the Crays.
Yeah, in Cray's wife Doria's luggage. It's pretty disturbing. He finds a leather strap and a diary.
Detailing what?
What the source calls a perverted marriage relationship. Basically, sadomasochism. It reveals this underlying cruelty in their private lives.
That adds a chilling layer. The same kind of enjoyment of causing pain seems to drive both the business and personal sides.
It really tells Halley he's dealing with people who are not just greedy, but genuinely dangerous and morally bankrupt.
Okay, so he has photos of the payments, the share transfers. What's missing?
He needs to connect it all definitively to Cray's broker, the guy actually handling the share buys. Ellis Bolt.
So Halley sets up a meeting.
Under another alias, John Halley, shop assistant. Very humble. And this leads him to someone unexpected.
An ally.
An unlikely one, yes. Xana Martin. She's Ellis Bolt's secretary.
And she has her own story.
She does. She's described as lonely, and she has significant facial scars from old injuries, fractures, burns. She even wears a prosthetic eye and tries to hide the scars.
And Halley connects with her. How?
That's a really powerful moment. Halley usually keeps his own injured hand hidden, out of habit or self-consciousness.
The hand damaged from his racing days.
Right. But with Xana, he consciously shows it to her. He sees this shared experience of physical handicap, of damage.
He uses vulnerability to build trust.
Exactly. He basically says to her, look, if you stop hiding your scars, stop feeling sorry for yourself about them, I'll stop hiding my hand.
Wow. A direct challenge based on shared experience.
And it works. It resonates so deeply with her that she agrees to help him, give him information on Bolt's activities with the Seabury shares.
That's incredible, and it changes her, too.
It seems to. She later moves her desk, so she's facing the office entrance, not hiding away. And she decides people pitying her is just bad manners.
So Halley didn't just get information, he sort of empowered her.
In a way, yes. By acknowledging his own brokenness, he helped her confront hers. It's a key turning point.
Okay, so Halley has the photos. He has Xana's intel connecting Bolt. Cray must realize something's up.
He does. He figures out his papers were photographed, and he panics.
What does he do? Just try to get the photos back?
No. He goes extreme. He realizes the photos themselves aren't the real danger, it's the negatives. He wants them obliterated. Plastic bombs. His team bombs Halley's London flat. Total loss. Haley says he lost every tangible memory of my life.
Just devastating. And they bombed the agency, too.
Yeah, the racing section office.
Hmm.
Just levels it. The violence escalates incredibly fast.
It proves Halley was right about how dangerous Cray is, but it seems disproportionate. Why bomb everything over some photos?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Mm.
And this is where Halley has his real breakthrough.
He realizes Cray's real fear isn't just the Seabury takeover scheme being exposed.
Exactly. That part was maybe messy, but perhaps deniable, or could be spun. So Halley takes the evidence. He does have the summarized lists of share transfers he photographed to his accountant, Noel Wayne.
And the accountant spots something Halley missed.
Instantly, Noel Wayne looks at the list and sees the pattern. Cray wasn't just using nominee names. He was routing the share purchases through 5 different bank accounts
Okay.
in 5 different cities.
Why? Is that just for secrecy?
Not primarily, no. The accountant realizes this complex structure, spreading the money around like that. It wasn't really designed to hide the takeover. It was designed for income tax evasion.
Ah, so the photos didn't just document the Seabury plot.
They documented a completely separate, much more common, and potentially much more easily prosecuted crime. Major tax fraud.
And that's what Cray was terrified of. Not the corporate raiding, but getting caught by the taxman.
Precisely. That carries serious jail time, personal ruin. Way more clear-cut than the complex property scheme might have been legally. Cray was willing to bomb buildings and risk murder to hide that.
That panic explains the extreme reaction.
Absolutely. And now Halley knows Cray's real weak spot. He knows Cray is desperate.
So Halley heads back to Seabury, expecting more trouble.
Expecting the worst.
Yeah.
He figures Cray will want one last huge act of sabotage. Maybe something to destroy the evidence or just lash out.
Then he finds it.
He does. He discovers a massive steam boiler in the grandstand building has been tampered with. The water supply's been cut off, but the heat's been left on full blast. It's basically been turned into a giant bomb set to explode and destroy the stands, probably during a race meeting.
Catastrophic. Can he stop it?
He manages to disarm it just in time. But then,
He's caught.
yeah, Cray and his whole crew were there waiting. Doria, the broker, Ellis Bolt, and even Captain Oxen, the racecourse manager. Turns out Cray had recruited him too.
So the climax, they have Halley.
They tie him up. In the weighing room, ironically, and Cray is still fixated on one thing.
The negatives, the proof of the tax evasion.
Exactly. But he doesn't just ask. He goes straight to torture.
Oh no, what does he do?
It's brutal. He picks up a poker, and he repeatedly smashes Halley's already damaged hand and wrist. The source says the bones cracked audibly.
Just horrific. Echoing the sadism they found evidence of earlier.
Completely. Cray is trying to break him, physically and mentally, to get the location of those negatives.
Does Halley hold out?
He endures incredible pain. But eventually, yeah, he gives him an answer. He tells Cray the negatives were in the office.
The office
Yeah,
that Cray himself had already bombed into rubble.
exactly. Haley knows they're already destroyed. It's a final act of defiance, even as he yields to the torture.
But how does it end? Does help arrive?
Yes. Just before he was captured, Halley had managed to send a coded distress signal to his colleague, Chico.
Ah, smart thinking.
So Chico manages to intercept Bolt back in London. Another operative, Fred, who seems to have been involved in the bombings, is caught at Ainsford.
And Cray?
Cray, Doria, and Oxen are all arrested right there at Seabury. The whole criminal enterprise collapses.
But at a tremendous cost to Halley.
A huge cost. He's back in the hospital again. And the damage to his hand this time, it's too severe.
They can't save it?
No, it has to be amputated below the elbow. The last we see of him in this part of the story, he's reading a booklet titled Artificial Limbs, The Modern Development.
Wow. So let's try and synthesize this. What does this whole deep dive really tell us?
Well, first, Cray's elaborate scheme, all the sabotage, the blackmail, the corporate maneuvering, it ultimately fell apart because he panicked about a different crime altogether.
Yeah, tax evasion, a more sort of common crime, drove him to extreme violence.
Exactly. And that violence was his undoing. It exposed everything because it was so over the top. His desperation to hide the mundane fraud revealed the spectacular one.
And what about Halley? What's the takeaway for him?
It's really paradoxical, isn't it? He loses his flat, all his possessions, the tangible links to his past. And then he loses his hand, the very thing that defined his first career as a jockey and a key tool in his second career.
Yet the description is
Rootless and homeless and liberated. It's as if shedding all that, even part of his own body, somehow freed him.
freed him from what? The burden of his past, maybe?
Perhaps. Or maybe just freedom to define himself differently. He gets offered a safe path next.
Right. They offer him the job of clerk of the course at Seabury, the very job Cray tried to corrupt and control. Stable, respectable.
A secure option, but he turns it down. He decides he wants back in at the agency. Hunt Radnor Associates. It's damaged, bombed out,
Yeah.
but it's thriving operationally. He wants a partnership there.
He chooses the risk again. The investigation, the challenge.
He does. And Xana Martin, his ally. She also finds a new way forward. Gets a new job, accepts her scars, and reframes that pity she hated as just bad manners from others.
So it's a story of transformation through loss, really. Halley, the guy who built his life on physical resilience, finds his true purpose only after losing a critical part of that physicality.
He trades physical wholeness for maybe a kind of existential clarity. He knows who he is and what he wants to do, perhaps more clearly than ever before.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener. It's quite provocative.
If Halley found his true path, his liberation, only after this profound physical loss forced him to let go, what does that suggest about the things you might be holding on to?
Yeah, what valuable or maybe not so valuable burdens, whether they're material possessions, old identities, or even past grievances, might actually be preventing your own reinvention? What might you need to let go of to find your own liberation?